she's sweet but a psycho, a little bit psycho. At night she's screaming, I'm on my mind, I'm on my mind.
First and foremost, thank you so much for coming to join us today. And I know that it's not the most amazing circumstances for you right now, but I really appreciate you taking the time to be here with us and to talk to us and fan person about your book. Thank
you for having me.
Of course. When I asked in our chat what everyone wanted to talk about, it's a sweeping, where did you get your ideas for your magic system? What comes next? And we'll start with those before I ask you more. So where did you find your magic system? How did that come up for you? And what do you have next for this universe?
You know what? Like when I was doing the magic system, I wanted it to be as easy to follow as possible, but still also have some sort of like interesting aspects of it. I've always personally liked elemental magic, you know, so that's something that inspired me. Everyone has their things. And when it came to like the gods system, I also left a lot of open ends because for book 2, I'm going to leave it up to someone very special to talk about it, because I feel like coming from him, because when there's a POV like coming from one character, you don't always get the full story. And so for book 2, it's going to be explained a little more with like the magic and that. But as far as like inspiration goes, it's just more of like elemental magic. I personally work with crystals and everything like that. So for me, labradorite was something that has to be in there. And it's just something that I think I was the most excited about, because that's something that's also going to be explored for book 2 as well.
Ooh. So you have your own knowledge of crystals. And
right.
I was curious about that because I don't see crystals used in other books, but I really liked that you had that in there. I thought that was really cool. How Callian and someone asked, is it Viona? Is it Viona?
Viona.
Okay. So I like how they imbued themselves in it so that Garion could use it. I thought that was just so interesting how you used the crystals in the book and then like it tied in with their elemental magic. And I thought that was really, really cool. Not something I've seen before.
Okay. Yeah. Well, then that's good.
It is wonderful. I thought it was really great. And so in book 2, you said you're going to explore that a little bit more.
Yeah, I'm going to explore it a little more. As far as like the whole thing with Callian and Viona with their powers, I've thrown a lot of like sprinkles. I'm like a foreshadowing MF, like all over the place. And so I don't know if you guys have noticed that or not, but them coming together is going to be really like almost questionable, really crazy, because, there's little warning signs, we get little tidbits of, okay, well, what happened with Daddy Valor? He has these mysterious scars and he's like kind of warning him and everything like that. So that's going to be explained for book 2. And it's all plotted out, and like I can't wait for you guys to read it because it's going to be really good.
So book 2 follows Viona and Callian again?
Yeah, so the hard thing about this is because being an indie author, like you're also learning as you go along. You don't have a set, like at the time I didn't have a set team to like help me make these decisions. I was told that it can be read as a standalone, but the story is so good you're going to want to continue the series. And so for book 2, it is going to follow Crystal and Garion, but there's going to be 2 timelines. So it's also going to be going back and forth with Viona and Callian. And so towards the middle of the book, they're going to come together and then the plot's going to move forward. So it's kind of like that. But it is going to be focused on Crystal's journey. You're going to finally get to see what's in her head, all these thoughts and all these memories, to know more about her past, especially Garion. So that's something that I've been enjoying writing so much. And you get to know more about Adnama, which, by the way, is like I can't even talk about it. I mean, I wish I could tell you guys everything, but she's so cool. Like she's mother, she's so giving with anything. Every time she opens her mouth, it's like, damn girl, where are you coming from? So I'm really excited about that.
I love that because Crystal is, I'm going to guess your feedback is that she's probably people's favorite because we all want to be Crystal. I think,
Right.
so, like, I love that. Number one, I love that you're always feeding a girl. I love that you always got food going in their mouths.
I need to eat.
It freaks me out. And if I'm reading a book, I was like, when was the last time these people ate? But I like, you did a great job with like a good meal. Like she enjoyed eating. Crystal enjoys eating. Fiona enjoys eating. But you always had like food around them, and I really appreciate it.
I love food personally, and I'm like, a girl needs to eat. Like right when I got here, because I've been at the hospital all day. I went home. I literally ate like a full plate of spaghetti, and I was not shy about it. I ate like half the pot, and I'm just like, they need to eat. Like when I read books, when they talk about spreading the butter and they're eating the bread and then they got coffee, I'm like, yes, that's what I want to read.
Well, absolutely. I love that you put that in there. And I love that you keep them fed. Because I was also reading like Fiona and Callian are out in the forest, and I skimmed through it again today, and I was like, oh my gosh. Even then he's like, she's unwrapping food and they're having like dried meat. She's like moaning because she's so full. She's like, it's delicious. And I'm like, yes, this is what I want to read. So I love that he's keeping her fed. I like that she's staying fed. So thank you for that. But I also love that that's like one of Crystal's personality traits is that she's like, I do what I want, kind of. She's like, her past is really traumatic. And I love how you've developed her into a character. I want to know how old that girl is. She's
27. I think it is in the book too. She's 27.
Man, because she's got like, must have gone through so much to be able to be worldly.
Yes, she has. I just written a memory of hers while I was out in California, and it was one of those like 4 a.m. My brain just decided to give me some ideas, and I just wrote the bones down, and then the next day I just explored it. And that story, like, it was so good, I had to read it to my mom. My mom's not too into like this whole thing, but she supports me. But I'm like, I know you're not into this, but I need to read this to you because it's so good. And so for even her not knowing anything about this, she's like, wow, like, and that's a memory. And she was like, really, like, that is like tragic and crazy. And so I'm like, okay, good. I'm glad you feel like that.
It also broke your heart.
Yeah. If I break your heart, then I'm doing a good job.
I mean, we all want an emotional connection. So I think I'm really excited to read that. But do you use your mom as a sounding board often?
Not really. I use my husband a lot. Like I live out in the woods and I'm really secluded, and it's weird because I've been living in Michigan for 10 years and I still don't have any friends. I don't know if it's because like maybe something's wrong with me, or maybe it's because I'm too secluded, but I usually talk with him about it. And then I talk with like, people that were on my alpha team, like Selena, she's my PA and my best friend, and Annika. Sometimes I run things by them too. And I'm hoping to give my alpha readers a good batch, hopefully like by the end of August or mid-September. I don't know, but yeah.
Oh, well, I had another question for you because I know that your husband does your art.
Mm-hmm.
And I wondered, does that go back and forth? Like, does he draw a picture and you're like, oh, I'm going to change how they look based off this? Or is he like, no, you need to change? Like, does he help you shape what they look like?
Well, the hardest thing about working with him is that he is a professional like portrait person. He studies anatomy. He has all these books. He probably looks like some serial killer with all his like muscle structure and like anatomy books, but it's for, creating, portraits for everybody. So when I tell him, hey, I want this certain position, he's like, that's not even possible if you put it in realism. I'm like, well, I don't care because this is like fantasy. So they should be in that position.
You're killing my buzz.
Right. Like be quiet. Do what I want you to do. But it's fun because, he brings the reality to it, and he and I are connected by the soul. Like for me, I personally believe in soulmates and twin flames and like all those spiritual things. So he kind of like feels it as well. Like he hasn't sat down and physically read the whole book, but like he'll read portions of it to try to study things. Mm-hmm. And so he studies before he ever draws. And so I think that's what helps this process, and it helps my vision come alive. And it's crazy. Like, I don't know if you guys saw the recent reel that I posted. I haven't did a official reveal, but like, it's a new Callian portrait, and he just did a completely different style. And I'm like, whoa, like, he looks beautiful.
I love that he does that for you. I think that is so cool that you guys work as a team.
Yeah. I mean, it's also cheaper too. I mean, I love what he does, and I wish I can work with other artists because I love supporting other artists as well. But like, yeah, it's so expensive. I'm still starting out as an indie, so
Art
I'm just,
is expensive.
it is. It really
I
is.
can't believe the stuff you guys have to pay for cover art in particular. Blows my mind, but we don't need to get on the subject of how expensive art is. We have a few authors, I think, that are with us, and they can also attest to the fact that it's freaking expensive.
Yeah.
And I think I don't know. I know you have to find someone who matches your style, and you have to find someone who like does a good job, but those are the most expensive people, unfortunately. So I I think this segues into my question. Well, I think Callian is surprisingly emotionally competent for a man, like really emotionally with it. And so I wanted to know, is this something you really wanted in a main male character? Because I noticed he fell for her way before he even met her, and he's he is like always saying the right thing, always being so supportive. He's absolute perfection. And so is that something that you really wanted to look for when you wrote him?
Yeah, I did. You know, I just wanted someone who was basically made for somebody like Fiona, because when you have somebody that has had extreme trauma, it takes a special person to understand them and not be so like quick to judge and everything like that. And so, you know, the prologue, I know a lot of people don't always like reading prologues, so I purposely only made it like a page because it's so important to the rest of the story. Because they are together, like he dreams her, and he almost kind of like has a little bit of a little sprinkle of like, you know, Jamie from Outlander, where he's just spiritual in that way, and there's something magical about him. And he's also like, he has like a tender heart. He knows what he wants. He doesn't have any like, he doesn't hold back with what he's thinking.
No.
Or despite who's around. And I think that's what I like too.
No.
But also, he's so in love with Fiona that you see what it can do to him, as far as like him going like hashtag goes dark for her, you know, like just absolutely unhinged. And that's what I wanted, like someone who can bring him to that point. It almost seems like maybe she might be too dangerous for him, you know. I want to like teeter on that a little bit. So yeah, I wrote him specifically like that. And also, when he is in the wrong, he does say he's sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Which is like something I needed to have in my book, because it's not always like that when you're in a relationship.
It's so funny you bring up Jamie, because Jamie, I think Callian has a lot in common with him, where Jamie has that hotness where he's like, just use my body, just use me any way you want to. I'm here for it, whatever you want. Like, and he's like, and by the way, I'm gonna love every second of it. It's gonna be the best thing I've ever done in my life. But he's always like, just use me. And I think that is so sexy about him. And that's that spirituality part that I connected to with him, where he's just like 100% for her. 100% you first, me second.
Doesn't matter who's in the room or what he wants to say or do. Like, he's just, that's just him. Like, take it or leave it. You know what I mean? Like,
who's leaving it?
I know, right?
Who?
Maybe Ronan. A-hole.
I mean, they did have a little jealous moment at the ball. I mean, girl didn't want to leave it, so I get it. Who's leaving? No. Oh my gosh. But my favorite scene, I hope this isn't one of your questions later, or maybe it is for everybody else, but my favorite scene is when he comes in unhinged at breakfast, barefoot, a hot freaking mess, tearing through that room, and she's like, I'm right here. Because I will always be here for an unhinged man.
Right. Yeah, you know, it gets all crazy, and she's like, I'm right here, and I almost wanted to have a little bit of like a comedy as well, you know, and just with Crystal sitting at the table. Like for me, when I write these things, like sitting at the table is like that's where all the stuff happens. Sometimes all the tension, you hear the deets and everything. So I always wanted any sort of gathering at the table to either be dramatic or some information or even just someone being nosy or whatever, you know. And so I love the interaction. I loved writing that scene with Crystal, kind
Yeah.
of giving them the side eye, like, okay. And then it takes a
even-
while for her to realize, oh my God, this is really serious.
And the king is like, you don't ask a woman where she's been in the morning. Everyone is like, get your shit together. Poor guys like try. That's my favorite scene. But I reread it today just grinning the whole time. Because I just, you built that tension of where Fiona's like, I can't do this. It's dangerous, but I'm not going to tell him. And I was like, when are they together? And I'm like, just like, please tell me they can do it. So you had me right at that moment, never putting this book down. And when he barges in, I was like, yes, like I need to see this. I need her to see it. Get over yourself. So I love that part. It's my favorite part. That he's so unhinged. And I love that picture you paint of him like opening the doors, like just completely disheveled.
Right. Awesome. I love tension at the table, and you're going to see a lot of that in book 2 as well. I mean, there's been so many times where I've been personally at the table and just even witnessing things or me being part of it. I'm just like, I don't know. I just like that. Maybe it's just that's what they call the tea or whatever, but I love it. It's always going to be there.
I have a question for you, kind of similar to that. Fiona is really perceptive. And I see that as a character trait of hers where she's always watching people. And yeah, that totally tracks with her history of trauma and abuse and needing to read a room to see how to react and all those things. You put her in that situation so unbelievably realistically. And I was this is my second reread. So as I'm reading it, I'm like, she's catching on to that he's really handsome, but he doesn't seem like a trustworthy person. She's catching on to like everyone's body language and their minutiae and stuff. And so I thought, is Monica like this?
Maybe like there's a little sprinkle of me in there. I personally have always been an observer. Like I'm quiet and people might perceive that as something else, but I like to observe, and I usually, for me, I know what somebody's up to before they do it. I know what they're going to do before they do it next. And I don't know if it's like, I don't know. It's a part of my personality, but just a little sprinkle in there. But also it was really important for her. You know, she grew up in the shadows, standing backwards. So she had her whole life to watch people and observe her life going by in front of her and just not really like saying or doing much. So for her character growth, you know, having that voice and putting herself out there is something that was important for her arc.
Well, I think you wrote it really, 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 really well. And I don't know if I caught on to it the first time, but the second time I was like, I really like this about her. I like that she can read a room really well, and she can almost foreshadow for you as a reader. Like it just fit really, really well. So right. Awesome. I also, I don't know about anyone is welcome to weigh in, but I have intense respect for authors who write prophecies. Like that you can write these like super long and not give anything away. And all of it's like a riddle. Like you wrote a riddle. And to me, riddles are the freaking hardest thing on the planet. And so you wrote I'm always in awe of how you wrote this prophecy that I'm trying to figure it out. And it does fill in as the story goes on, but amazing job. Does anyone else?
It is hard. It is, I did an Instagram live last week and they mentioned that too. That was one of the hardest things I had to do besides writing the ball scene. You know, because I have to think about the entire series because there's things that are going to happen in book 2 that kind of like, I don't know how to say it, but like, you know, the prophecy is still going to kind of be lingering, but it's going to be for different reasons. And so, you know, yeah, I mean, just, you know, making it like that, it was just really hard. And I like, you know, even like I ramble a lot, so I'm sorry. But even like
Not
with
rambling,
the
we're
blood
here for
moon,
you.
even with the blood moon, when I was early stages of doing the book cover, I was like, should I have a blood moon on it? I'm like, no, I don't want that.
Does it
It's
foreshadow too
shocking.
much? Will they figure it out?
Right. And I just wanted my book cover to be very like mysterious. Like if you found my book in the middle of the forest, you would be real sketched out. Like, do I take this book or not? It looks like there's some dark things in there. You have to think about it. But so that's like what I wanted to do. And then with the whole prophecy thing, quick and simple, because if it's too drawn out for even me, like I just want to be able to understand it myself too and make sure it tied into like the rest of the series. Super hard. I'm just once it was all written down, I'm like, okay, good, now I can breathe. What problem do I have next?
A lot of kudos to you, because I feel like that's amazing. I feel like that's work. I don't want to put in work, but nonetheless, I haven't written anything. But Monica, you mentioned that the ball scene was hard to write. Why was that hard to write?
Yeah, this is crazy, but I sat on that scene for 3 weeks. And I'm just like, I ain't got no time for that. I need to figure it out. And I'm sitting there and I put it aside. And then I saw Jennifer Armentrout. She was saying, because I watch her lives all the time. I absolutely love her. And she was saying, if you're stuck on a scene, it's for a reason. That means something's not connecting. So I had to ask myself this question, what's not connecting? And it was like, I wanted it to be a really impactful, emotional thing. And also something special that Callian reveals about himself, something about his mom that he doesn't really always want to talk about. And so once I got over that hurdle and I figured out why I was stuck, it just came out after that. And it was just like a wave of relief. And I just wanted to make that scene really special for him. And also like, everyone's looking at her and there's a lot of people that don't really like her and they might still see her as like the enemy, but he sees her in this light where it's like, F everyone else. You're beautiful. This is you. And also this is a little piece of me like dancing on the floor. And that's why everyone was all, trying to get his attention, because he hasn't done that with anyone in a very long time. So yeah.
That definitely came across for sure. Very good job.
Thank you.
That definitely came across. I thought you were going to say like, well, there's a lot of names.
That was easy.
Remember everyone.
Surprising, that was like the easiest part. I don't know why, because I was always having a hard time with names. I loved writing those side characters, which you'll see more of them in book 2 as well.
So who's your favorite character to write then?
To write? I don't know. It's weird because I love them all. Like they're all my babies. For book 2, I'm really enjoying Garyon.
He is a huge, I feel like you could do so much with him. I know you probably have an idea in your head, but he's like an open book, like blank book. I mean, like, I don't know where he's going.
He's going somewhere. You're gonna be shocked. I mean, yeah, he's so special to me. I'm obsessed with him in a very unhealthy way, probably. And I'm after my husband does Crystal, because my street team voted on Crystal. I might do him next, but when I do reveal him, I just want it to be, I go back and forth because that's just how my brain works. I'm never like on one path. I want him to be celestial, because he is, and he's really special. He's really like, everything about him is just magic and ethereal. And I, when I reveal him, I want it to be like mind-blowing, like explosives and dramatic, because that's how I am. I'm very dramatic with literally everything I do. So yes, I love him the most, if I'm being honest.
Well, I know I have consumed the majority of question asking, but does anyone else have questions or anything they just want to share with Monica about the book? This is your time to kind of chat and ask anything I didn't ask. Or get your fortune read. It's up to you.
I have a really weird question because I'm a very weird reader. So if Viona and Callian, I'm really hoping I said those right, could be a pasta sauce, which one would they be and why?
A pasta sauce. I like that question. I love pasta.
Don't
eat
let your
pasta like
previous dinner influence your decision.
literally. I'm like thinking
Literally
about I
just
should have made
stress.
more last night. I would say the Prego brand, where it's like, I guess like a combination where you got meat, you got like bell peppers and onions, and like, because the thing is, like with them, they're a mixed bag. You never know what you're gonna get, especially with Callie being unhinged and Fiona's just kind of like she does whatever the hell she wants. So I think they would be like the Prego brand. I forgot what it is, but it's just like the meat combo or something.
Is it like a garden? I don't know. There are surprises in that sauce. I think there's
Right.
carrots in it.
There is?
I think so. I think
Huh.
a traditional, am I wrong? A traditional Italian ragu has carrots. It's like a
I don't know.
stew.
You're
Yeah,
not
Sarah says yes.
you're not wrong. Like they put carrots in it as like a sweetener instead of sugar.
Yeah,
Wow.
their mistake. I'll eat as much sugar as possible if it's not carrot derived. That doesn't sound great to me. But I like the idea of peppers in it. I think that, oh, did Monica leave? Did she get kicked out?
Oh, I bet it was an accident.
I know.
Yeah, I
Oh,
think she
I
accidentally hit something.
Well, she's also in her car in the rain, poor thing. Ah, she's
Here we
back.
go.
She goes. Yay.
Technical.
You're on mute.
Oh, but now I figured out how to pin you, so you're like big. That worked in my favor.
Oh,
You're like taking up a ton of my screen now. That's awesome. I don't know how that
Who,
happened.
me or someone else?
No,
No,
you.
you.
Like now that you
I'm
came
like,
back,
why?
you pinned really big. Now I can see you were this tiny little square before.
I disappeared for a second. I'm sorry. My father-in-law called me, and I never use Google Meet, so I was just trying to like click off of it real quick.
It's no problem. I kept talking about peppers. That was you didn't miss anything.
Okay. Well, we were talking about food, so yeah, I missed out.
I didn't know if you might make them something spicy, something creamy.
Oh, right, right. Especially with that fireplace scene.
I'll tell you what, they can keep their hands off each other in the beginning, and I was like, when you gonna realize? Because you cannot stop. When you gonna get? I'm living for it. I live for the tension and the angst. It's my favorite.
Right. Me too. Yeah, I just wanted I know you know, I don't read reviews because I just don't think it's good for my mental health, but I have, you know, trusted people like just to give me a gist, you know, constructively. And people are either okay with that scene or they're not with the river scene. They're just like, it's too soon. I'm like, it isn't, I mean, I don't think it's a problem. Like,
no.
I've done things in my past that were too soon and I'm okay. You know? Let the girl have some fun, you know. It doesn't have to be like a set, you know, you gotta wait a long time. Do what you want to do, like, you know.
Well, like you said, that's part of her personality is that she just kind of does whatever the F she wants.
Yeah, so let her explore.
Yes.
I hope I'm saying your name correctly, Lakeisha.
Yeah,
But you're
that was
raised
right.
me.
But I didn't mean to raise my hand. I meant to clap when, you know, you do what you want. You do what you want in that river, girl. But no, that was all.
Right. I'm so happy you're here, by the way. Hi.
Hi.
I love you so much.
I love you too.
I thought Lakeisha had a hot take on the river.
No, I was amping for the river. Here for the river.
Yeah.
I also am here for the river. I'm a river girl. Bring on the river. I
Yeah.
hope we get more river next year.
I'm pro river. You do what you want in that water.
I love that. Well, Monica, do you have any questions for our readers? For us?
Let me see. I know you asked that earlier. I'm like, I need to think of something. What do you like? Because the thing with Instagram right now, it's just the engagement is just really crazy for everybody, and I feel like even me personally, I'm not seeing any of my friends on my feed and everything, but as like a bookstagrammer and influencer and just someone who loves books, what do you like to see from authors? Like, is it more teasers? Is it character art? Is it like things about them the outside their book, you know, like just to give some ideas, because lately I also feel like I'm a little not burnt out, but just like running out of ideas, you know, and I just something fresh, you know.
I mean, you want to do fortune telling.
I always like character art because I like to, like, while I'm reading, I like to picture how the characters look. But then also I like quotes that the author pulls, because I think that's interesting, what the author pulls, as opposed to like what other people are highlighting, like on the Kindles and stuff.
Mhm. I thought about that too, because there's so many highlights in there that people need to know about it.
So Holly, you had your hand up, and then Lakeisha had their hand up.
Yeah, so I am the biggest believer in that Bookstagram, Instagram, and everything is about you and not necessarily like other people. So like post whatever content you want, and if people don't like it, then you know they can go like hide in a bush for all I care. But I think something that I really like to see is just like that courage and that authenticity and the kindness that every author that I've ever met has. Just like, you know, even if it's just like interacting with a random person online where it's like a little comment where it's like, hey, this is cute, or something. I think like that's just kind of like the thing that I like to see. And then if that happens, I'm just like absolute fangirling, like jumping up and down, and then I go and I like everything and I become like an internet stalker of some sort. And anything that you're willing to share from like behind the scenes, something that makes you laugh, maybe something that makes you cry, just something that feels authentic to you.
Right. That's actually a really good way to view it too. And you know, it's what I try to do too. And it's hard too, because with Instagram, you feel like you always have to be doing something, you know, and it's just like the pressure of it. And I too, when I feel overwhelmed, I go back to the original reason of why I created a Bookstagram and why I wrote this book. And it goes back to like the passion and the love and what I'm feeling that day. So that's a good reminder.
If anyone pressures you, let me know, and I will ensure that the calls about their car's extended warranty will never end.
I understand the pressure of it too, and that being an indie author is having a small business. And so you want your business to be successful. And you also have to be posting to stay current and relevant and in people's face so they remember you. And it feels like it's got to be exhausting.
Oh yeah, it definitely is. Especially the last 2 months, I've been kind of like, you know, dealing with my own stuff in the background, and I have some content like piled up that I know I can post and everything. And I actually enjoy making graphics, and I really love the marketing aspect. I know some people don't, but I like making reels, and I'm just try to fit the emotion with it. And I was talking to my friend Selena, and she was kind of, even for her posts, I love her profile because she talks about other books and she matches the music with it, and like the music just really brings that emotion. And so I try to do that as far as my marketing strategy with like what I feel connected to with the power of a song and the quote and everything, so like people get the vibe, because I think a vibe is so important. So that's what I do.
Lakeisha, you had your hand up?
Yes. First off, Holly, you hit the nail on the head, because I was gonna say a lot of what you said about, you know, being true to who you are, and if anybody doesn't like it, then they can go to another page. So I was very much in tune, you know, with what Holly said. But as far as I think marketing or something different, I think sneak peeks are always really interesting to see. You know, whether it's a new book that, you know, a continuation or novella, or just little bits of you, just like little sneak peeks on like what's next, always interests me, especially like special editions or anything like that. I think is really, really cool, because you get to sort of see the author's artistry come out a little bit more, or just get a little piece of what's next, is always very exciting. Like, I love trailers of movies, so I feel like they're like little mini trailers and teasers of what's coming. So I do personally enjoy anything like that. So yeah, I think that would be cool as well. And of course, insights of who the author is, because I feel like that helps, the readers bond with the authors, which is what I do enjoy about indie authors versus really, really big authors. Because I love SJM, but I'm like, girl, can I get like, a snippet personally or something? So that's sort of the things I love about indie authors, is that you can sort of be personal with them. It's a little bit easier, you know what I mean? So
Right.
yeah, that's just my take on it.
Right. I love engaging with readers, and I was, I had my Bookstagram for 2 years, and one of the, I was just like posting about books that I read, and I decided to like go on this crazy indie author journey. I purposely wanted to do indie because I wanted that challenge. I wanted to be in control, because I'm a little bit of a control freak, and my grandma raised me that way, and I can't help it. But I like to be in control, and I want to have like, I'm an artist myself, and I want all my ideas out there and everything like that. But I love talking to readers. Like, you guys can slide into my DMs anytime, and she knows. I mean, her and I have talked a lot too. I'm really close with a lot of people online, so I'm there for it.
Aoife is laying next to her husband in bed and can't talk, but she says that she would like to see popular quotes, teasers from upcoming work, and memes. And Amber wants to know if you have a playlist for your book, and perhaps you can share it with us.
I do. I have a playlist on Spotify. It's linked on my link tree on Instagram. And I think I also have a playlist for book 2 on there, and my side novella that I'm working on. Adnama, I posted a little bit of a teaser, I think last month, but I do need to have more teasers with that, so people don't forget. But yeah, I do that. And I forgot what the other question was. I forget really easily.
We're throwing a lot at you. It's okay, Monica.
Oh, memes. Yes, I do have memes. I also asked some of my street team members, because they like making memes out of my book, and I wanted to also, everything I post, everything I do, I always credit, of course, but I'm just like, can I tag you if I use this? I want a post that has all the memes, because I love memes. I live and breathe them, and it's like a happy place for me. So if anyone even makes those about my book, I'm just all giddy. But yeah, I want to make some of my own as well.
Oh, and then we have our giveaway coming up, so we need to put in a number between 1 and 10 in the chat just in the next few minutes, as we do. Maybe I'll win one this time. I've never won one. And someone in our last group won 2, and I'm like, this universe isn't fair to me.
Wow.
I know. They got some.
I got one of the items that's going to be in there, and I love it. I need to make a post about it, because she's absolutely amazing. And I'm just like, I was actually using it this morning, and I was thinking of her. I'm like, this is so damn pretty.
Well, Laura is our. Oh, Mary, you made it. Mary made it.
Yeah.
Are you talking about the mug?
Yes.
Yes.
I don't want to give it away. I don't know if it was a spoiler, so I was like waiting.
Oh no,
Like,
that's
okay.
We share.
It's
We
the mug.
share.
It's freaking amazing, and like I use it all the time. I need to make a post about it.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
So pretty.
So this is the mug. So this is one side of it.
Yes.
Oh, I love that.
And then that is the other side of it.
Mary, good
Gorgeous.
job.
Yes. So that's very exciting. And then to go with the mug, we have some tea from Cliche Tea. So it'll be one of these.
Love
They
it.
are tropes. And they're super cute. I'm really excited about these. They're really cool flavors too. And then we have a bookish candle from Apothecary 19. I have different
That's pretty.
tropes for these too. We have like enemies to lovers, found family, dark academia. What is that one? Morally gray. So these smell like absolutely amazing, and they're just little tins. And then have this signed copy of the book. We have some art, character art, and this is the river scene. Spicy scene. and then some like a bookmark and some stickers and stuff in there. And then we'll also have some other bookish stickers that I will add in there as well. So let me
Thank you for
get
sending me
my thingy. Yes.
I'm glad
Yes,
it got
thank
there
you
so fast.
so
'Cause
much.
As
Yeah,
soon
it
as I got
did.
home, I was like, it was in the mailbox.
And thank you, Mary.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mary. It is gorgeous. Okay. So what number are we? Did somebody pick this number? Okay. Somewhere we didn't have
number.
that. Nope. I'm gonna redraw though. That's fine.
So it's mine. That's what I hear. That's what I hear.
But we're good.
Sarah, you didn't put it. It's because Sarah didn't put it.
It's number 7, Holly.
Oh my god.
Ooh,
Holly
Holly!
won. Woohoo.
I clap if I could, but I'm like holding my phone with one hand.
Yay, Holly.
Yay, Holly!
Congrats, that's awesome.
So, Monica, what's coming up for you? It's getting dark here. I'm sorry. I don't want to stand up and try and turn on a light. Monica, what's going on for you? I saw that you're going to be in some book conventions. I saw that you have some stuff going on. So, what's up with you?
Yeah, I have a Barnes & Noble signing with a bunch of other local authors in Muskegon, Michigan, October 5th from 1 to 4. And I'm excited about that. And it's so hard to even I've been trying to get into that for a long time. So I'm glad that they chose me, and it came at a time where it was just really crazy. Like, I was like, whoa, this is already, sprinkles of good luck coming at the right time. I'm doing Book Harvest for 2025 in Chicago, and I'm doing Villains and Vixens in Texas next year. And I'm so excited for that one because actually both of those, because there's so many amazing artists and bookstagrammers and authors and vendors that are going to be there that I feel connected to. I'm like, this is just going to be like one big old party, and I'm so excited for that. I've been working on book 2. I did have to take a little bit of a break, but I'm diving back in hardcore at the end of the month, and it's the rest of the series is already plotted out, and it's traumatic, and I'm sorry in advance, but it's just going to rip a lot of souls out.
You're not sorry.
Don't lie.
Why you hurt me like that? You were doing so good.
I can't wait. I feel like you have answers for questions I haven't even come up with. Like, I'm so excited to read book 2. And it's crazy, like, to meet you in person. And Monica, you were my very first ARC ever. And this was my very first ARC book. And I was like over the moon to get this book. Not under it. Or no flame under, but yeah. But I just, it's so crazy to meet you, and I'm so excited to meet you. It was my very first like foray into all of this world.
I know. During ARCs, I had a lot of people that were late to the signups, and one of them was like, I feel so weird coming into your DMs, but my friend got it and I just really want a buddy read. I'm like, yeah, of course. I sent it to her, and like I said, just enjoy it. Like, of course, you know what I mean? So, if you ever sign up for an ARC and you miss it, I sometimes, like, if you do message the author, they can still send it, and that's, I even had one of my author friends do that for me. Like, I missed it and they sent it anyways, but I just genuinely was so happy. Like, anyone who signed up, I'm like, yeah, like, read it, of course, like, but I was also terrified and just.
I know it's gotta be really hard to put all your work out there and then get silly feedback like they don't like the river scene.
I've been lucky to not have anybody like send like crazy messages, but I have this really, I don't know, I do a lot of like mental self-care, and I'm just like, anyone who enters my space and tries to like give me this negative energy, I just don't even give into it. And it's almost like, this is silly, but I'm a Disney girl, and they always say in Tinkerbell, don't feed the trolls. you know, and so I don't feed trolls. I'm just doing my own thing. If you don't like it, that's fine. Like, thanks for taking the chance of even reading my book, but like, you know, I don't even give them that energy. But but I've been lucky. But still, even if I die, I wouldn't give them that energy.
Oh, I really like that you don't read your reviews. I feel like anyone can leave a review and it's nonsense. So, oh my goodness, hold on, please. Sorry, hold on.
Who's being negative? Who do I need to fight? Because you say the word, and every single morning they will wake up and step on a Lego first thing.
Apparently, my house is in shambles. I have very young children, and I can imagine it is in shambles, and that's fine.
I'm a mom. I get it. And I, you know, I always remind my friends too, like when we're talking, they're like, I'm sorry, my kids are in the background. I'm like, don't even worry about it. Like, we're moms. We can have total chaos in the back of our house, or in the back of the house, and like just keep doing our thing, you know, so it's okay.
I don't hear the noise anymore.
Mm-mm. It's very weird when you recognize the noise and people are like, you hear that? I'm like, oh yeah, I do have kids. They're fine.
Right.
That's how I feel about it. Like, it is going to be chaos. I have children.
It's always
read
I have teenagers, and Sarah, I know you and I have talked about that. In teens, it's like they keep you humble, and my daughter says some crazy things. I'm like, damn, okay, you know, sorry, I'll just go hide in hell now, never come out.
Teenagers are brutal.
They
They're
are.
brutal.
They're
just
commentary.
they're very
Unwanted
honest
commentary.
Yep.
My daughter is 6, and I'm already
yeah.
getting all sorts of fun feedback. I'm just really, we already bicker. We had this fight a few days ago. Oh my gosh. I was like, how old are we? He was like, I won't talk. And I was like, fine, I want you to be quiet. And she's like, fine. And I was like, oh my gosh.
It really be your
Bethany
own
said she
kid.
has 3 kids under 5 years old. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Bless your heart.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, Monica. I appreciate you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me. I had so much fun. Thank you for letting me escape a little bit. Like, I appreciate this, and thank you for working with me with being okay sitting in the car.
Of course, we're okay with you any way you come. So thank you so much. And I hope everyone has a wonderful night. And Monica, if you have things you want to share with us, arcs or betas or whatever, I would be happy to post it. We would all be happy to post it and try and bring
Perfect.
to you.
I will definitely let you know. Thank you guys all so much.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye. Good night.
Thank you.
She's sweet but a psycho, a little bit psycho. At night she's screaming, I'm on my mind.